So I was debating doing this video. It's not something bad, it's just, I don't know. I'm still learning what is the type of content that I want to put out on the internet. And I'm really making this seem more dramatic than it is, but I wanted to basically tell like a bit of a story, which I mean, obviously I'm telling stories a lot on YouTube. I just uploaded one just now. But basically, I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind for a while, because I'm pretty sure it's because I keep liking posts like this, but I'll be on TikTok and I keep seeing videos about, like, even on YouTube now, like, your time is coming, don't give up, and this and that, and a lot of them about God and faith, which I made a video recently about spirituality and positivity. This kind of goes into it, but there was a particular video that I feel like fits me like to a T, because I'm stubborn as a person. I get that from my parents. But it was basically somebody was saying, like, why is it that when God keeps telling you no, you feel like that means you have to try harder to get the thing he keeps denying you, which ultimately doesn't allow you to get what he has for you, because you feel like you need to keep working towards this thing that he keeps telling you no about. I've done that with people I've tried to be in relationships with, friendships that didn't work out. And just, I feel like a lot of decisions I've made in the past weren't like, they didn't work out because it was something that I shouldn't have pursued. Like, there's so many times where I was telling myself, like, you already know you're not supposed to be doing this, but you keep going with the what ifs. Like, I was even telling my mom, like, just moving into this apartment, I was like, it feels like it's just been one thing after another bill, another this, another that. Like, every time I feel like I'm trying to relax or just breathe, it's like I get a day and then boom, something else happens. And I was telling one of my friends, I was like, man, I know that I can handle the things that's going on in my life right now. It's like, obviously I can handle it. It's just not moving on the timeline where I feel comfortable. Like, for example, I use Flex to pay my rent. So, Flex, you can pay the half on the first, and then you pay the rest sometime later in the month. And I was like, okay, because I took my week vacation this week. So I was like, okay, I had cash. I bought a little bit of groceries, and I'm going to save this paycheck for the rent, and then I get paid again when the week I'm not doing anything or going anywhere. So I'll be good. I'll be straight. This just happened. The first is on that Monday. I got paid previous Thursday, and then again this Thursday coming up, which will be the 4th. And you have to pay rent within the first 5 days. Even paying half, that's still how it works. So I was like, I should have enough. I got like more than enough, like, based on, because it'll tell you, like, this is what's projected based on your rent. And if it goes up, it'll let you know. Like, it'll tell you, like, what it is, everything that you get charged and everything. So the only problem was, like, it didn't tell me any changes. Like, I would check it every day just to make sure, like, okay, I know this is going to come out on the 1st. I need to make sure this is exactly what's going to come out, and then see where we go from there. It didn't tell me that because weekend. So the 1st come, I get a notification your payment didn't go through. I'm like, okay, why didn't my payment go through? I look, my payment is almost $200 more than what was projected because I had extra payments. And I didn't have those extra $200 because I had enough to, well, it was like 100 more than what I had. So I'm like, that's great. I look at the extra payments, it's like, oh, that's even better. So, well, there's basically nothing that I can really do except wait till I get paid again. And that's the day before the 5th. So it's like, that's already an issue. And I had already been having like issues because my biggest thing is trying to Uber back and forth from where I stay to where I work. It's on the other side of town, which, I made the decision to do that, based on circumstances and everything like that. It was cheaper to be on this side of town than where I work at. And I had it covered, I felt like, but then it's like I said, everything just kept coming, like different types of bills, different things put me behind. And it's like, I'm started to feel like I was in a loop where I was never going to get out. And, I used Credit Karma and they were like, hey, you got your credit's pretty decent. You got some offers for credit cards and loans possibly. So, and I know like one thing my dad has instilled in me for a long time was to not go into debt as best I can. Like I have my credit card that I pay off and everything like that. But, not to get any big type of debt that I basically couldn't afford to pay off, So I ended up getting another credit card and it's like, okay, whatever. And then I ended up maxing that out, which somehow I didn't, which I feel like that's just a miracle on its own. But at the time it was like, okay, that's done. I have my other credit card and it's like I still feel like I'm just in a loop. Like for most of my vacation so far, it started Sunday, it's Friday. From Monday, actually even before then, because when I was still working, it was just like, man, I feel like I'm never going to escape this cycle. Like I'm just stuck. It's like from Monday to Thursday, I was just sitting there struggling, like mentally, like, okay, I know I'm gonna have the money I need to pay, the rent, but then it's like, what else after that? Because I was like, I got this week, but then I'm gonna go back to work and I feel like it's just gonna be a repeat. So I got the credit card and everything, and then I started looking at loans just to say, let's just see, like let's see what happens. So I was BSing. I was like, let's see if I could get 2,500. And one of the places, called me. And at first I wouldn't answer because I wasn't really interested in it. I was just like seeing, and they was like, let's finalize data, see what we can do. So one day I went and answered. I was like, bump it, whatever. He was like, hey, I can't get you 2,500. I can get you 2,000. I was like, that's still pretty decent. That'll cover like everything that I'm really worried about and still have enough. I don't know if this is necessarily information that I shouldn't be telling. It doesn't really matter either way to me. But, I was like, shoot, all I got is these debts, the credit cards that I'm trying to pay off. Maybe have a little extra, maybe invest that, whatever. And just, it sounded good. So he was like, you could do 2,000. He was like, it's basically 36 months paying it off. He was like, you could pay 91 or you could pay 95. The 95 will be if something happens in that time that you're paying it off, you don't, you don't get extra interest and all that. So I was like, okay, 95 a month. I think that could work, All my bases will be covered, I feel like. And, I would be good, I feel like. But I kept getting this I could have swore I saw a branch like come all the way down for a bit and go up. I could be tweaking, but I was like, that'll cover a lot. But then I'm sitting and thinking on it, and I'm like, the 36 months was what was getting me, because I'm like, 36 months, that's 3 whole years. Granted, I could pay more off. You know, I could pay it off faster if I wanted to, but I'm like, that to me was another cycle that I was gonna get into. So I'm like, I don't know, but I'm like, okay, I keep pushing further. So I was like, we already in it. Let's bump it. Let's go. So I talked to him Friday, and I had to go to work. He was like, could you come to the branch and I'll finalize you? And I was like, no, because I got an Uber to work, and it's like, it's going to be too much trying to Uber there and then make it to work on time. And he was like, oh, man, you know, I understand. I ain't going to try to make you Uber, because he's like, I know how that is. He was like, let me make some calls, see if I can, you know, finalize you online. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm already thinking like, oh, yeah, I know what I'm going to do with this money as soon as I get it. Like, man, I can't wait, because he was like, you know, I'm gonna call you back, just, you know, give me your card information and everything like that, and you can add the money right there. I'm like, I already know I'm about to pay this and this, I'm about to invest this, I'm about to keep this so I can start paying it off and everything. But it started nagging me some more. And my biggest thing for me is, a lot of times I don't feel like I deserve good things. So when things are a little too good, a little too positive, it makes me uncomfortable sometimes. I'm working on that. I'm dealing with that, because I'm starting to understand that, one, I hate not liking the things that I have. So I want to be able to appreciate when good things do happen, and I want to be able to let the bad things roll off my shoulder, because that's one thing too. Is like, when it's bad, it is bad. It goes downhill a lot. It feels like I was just saying, I felt like I was in a loop for the longest time, and it sucks. But I'm like, I don't know. It's like something just don't feel right about this. And it kept going in the back of my head. Like, every time God tells you no, you keep trying to push harder, you keep trying to work harder, instead of believing in him that it's going to work out. You keep trying to push something, and every time you end up pushing for that something that he's trying to deny you, it gets worse and worse, and you end up with more trauma, you end up with more issues. And it's like, man, I was already thinking, I was like, I'm probably gonna regret this. You know, he's gonna call me back, and I'm gonna be like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and go through with it, and then I'm gonna have to deal with the consequences of it. So I think about 30 minutes go by, he called me back. He was like, hey man, I couldn't finalize you online. They say you have to come in. It's like, what's your schedule tomorrow, which is a Saturday? And if you know, most bank and bank adjacents aren't open on the weekend. One, I didn't know they weren't open on the weekend. I ended up Googling it later, and I was like, I work the same shift that I'm working today. I was like, since I know ahead of time, you know, I can come a little early. Because he was like, yeah, man, just come a little early. And he was like, I'll be there. He was like, it should only take like 5 minutes. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I can do that. And I ended up Googling it later, and because I had to figure out which one it was based on the number. And I was like, it says they're closed tomorrow. But he told me to come in Saturday. So I'm like, all right, if I go there on Saturday and he's there, or he shows up and I get this, then it was meant for me. That's my understanding of it. Because I kept having this feeling like I probably should even make that trip, because that's money that I could spend going to work, which I almost didn't have enough to make it home. It was a good thing that I ended up being off like the whole week, but that's another thing. So I kept getting this feeling like I couldn't even go to sleep not Saturday night, Friday night. So I had to be up early. I'm like, man, it's nagging me. I feel like I should even go. But again, being hard headed and not listening to my intuition, I went there. Door was locked. They were closed. I called. Nobody answered. I called again. Nobody answered. Said, well, let me just go ahead and Uber to McDonald's, try and get some breakfast and then go to work. I was like, if he doesn't show up or even contact me by the time, because it was like 15 or so minutes that I had to wait for the Uber. I told him, I was like, the latest I'll be is like 9:30, and I was there at 9 o'clock. I didn't leave till about 9:30. So I was like, if he calls me when I get the Uber, or he shows up when I get the Uber, then that's the sign that I need that this is supposed to work. If nothing happens, then that means that my intuition was right. Because again, the fact of the matter is, when I told him about my Uber situation, he said he understood, and then didn't want me to go through that. So I told him, I said, the latest I will be, it's 9:30. He said, okay, I can do that. So I'm sitting there waiting. I'm in a predominantly white area too, so I'm already uncomfortable because, it don't take nothing for them to call the cops. So I'm sitting there, just waiting for something. Nothing happens. I get in my Uber, get my food. I'm at work. I clock in at 10:30. I get a call from them at 10:30. I said, that's the sign I needed. And it's just, I was telling my friend about it because she was talking about getting a loan too to try and get her out of the situation. I was telling her my mind, my thought process about everything. Because I was like, for me, I was going to get locked in a whole other cycle. Because my thing is, as much as I feel like I'm struggling, as much as I feel like it's not working out, it literally always is. The only problem is the fact that my patience, because I start getting anxious when I feel like I'm not doing things right away. Like literally from Monday through Thursday, I was sitting there like, man, I don't deserve to have shit. Like I bought a microphone and another screen for my streaming, and now for my content creation, like I want to get more into like doing that side of things. And I hesitated to buy that. I was like, it's no point. But I was like, no, because this is what you want to do, and if you want to be more serious about it, you have to have the proper tools that at least give you a start and make you feel comfortable. So I did that. And that's another thing that started hitting me like a couple days ago, because I was streaming on Twitch I streamed, I think, Monday through Wednesday, and I'm sitting there like, I'm working on a project right now. I'm editing a longer form video of some of my old content to test the software and everything that I'm using, and I'm sitting there like, I don't think I would have been happy if I would have gotten that loan. Because like, yeah, it'll solve the problem in the moment, but the issue is there's other things around me that need to be fixed that won't be fixed when I'm locked in a 36-month deal that no matter what else I got going on in my life is going to be consistent. There's debts that I could pay off in a month with what I'm doing now if I really wanted to. That this debt is something that's going to be stuck with me, and there's a lot of things that make me think about my future, and it's like, how can I have a proper future if I have 3 years of chains weighing me down? And it's like, literally, that the answers are already there for me. I'm making enough to pay my rent. it's just, it feels worse just because, again, it's not on the timeline that I would appreciate. Like, when there's problems, I don't want to have to wait 3-4 days or a whole week. I want to have it done right then and there, but it doesn't always work out like that. And even with my job now, it's like, man, it sucks trying to get back and forth and do this and that, but it's like, it's giving me at least enough time to really focus on the other side of what I want to do. Like I said, with making content, if I actually sit down and schedule it out in a way that works for me, I can do something. I can build something for myself, and that's what was in the back of my head the whole time. Instead of trying to force something that isn't for you, that's going to negatively impact you, build it up from the ground. Build it up from where you can and watch how it flourishes in the end. And I was watching Keith Lee's video, TikTok the other day, where he was talking about how things were for him 3 years ago. How he was saying, like, he was on TikTok live and they was giving him gifts and stuff just so he could make gas money to go to a shoot. And look at him now. And all I can think about is, like, if I just stick with my intuition and actually go through with the things that I know I want to do, and actually try to put more content out and do more things, and watch myself grow, it'll be a whole lot better than building it off somebody else and just not building off something else that isn't truly mine, and that's ultimately gonna weigh me down. It's like anything that I make from this point forward, if I would have got that loan, would just be to dig me out of a deeper hole than what I'm in now. And if I'm already not comfortable with the situation I'm in now and I can fix that over time, imagine something like that. So I say all of this to say that, at least for me personally, I can say that I need to believe in myself more and actually do more things. Because the reason I feel like I'm in a cycle is because I'm literally go to work, go home, go to work, go home, go to work, go home, eat, shower, on occasion work out. I don't really do enough to actually enjoy my life. That's my biggest problem. And my other thing, like I was telling my friends, like if I feel like it's bad now, when all it is like basic stuff, I just have to wait a little bit. It's like, imagine living life when I have a family or just a bit more things. Like, I'm dealing with adult bills, but this is like bare minimum. I mean, in this economy, it's not really bare minimum anymore. It kind of sucks, but it's like, unless I build something stable for myself, by myself, for myself, I will never be satisfied or never feel like I'm ready to deal with those future endeavors. And that's not a life I want to live. And that's like, even 3 years, it'll be here before you know it. But I don't know. That's not what I want to deal with. Like, if that makes sense. I think it makes sense. It's not something I want to have on my back. Because even I'm thinking, like, man, if I just, if I did do that and say I get another job and everything like that, it's like you're still in deficit. And that wouldn't sit right with me, because I want to feel like I'm gaining something, not losing something, or not gaining something and then pretty much just losing it, or how I want to say it. It's like paying. I don't want to keep paying everybody else before I get to satisfy my own, like, personal finances, basically. I'm already doing enough of that as it is. I want to be able to sit and have something that's for myself. And I can't do that with something like a loan, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's something I thought I would share. It was something that made me more uncomfortable with, because it's kind of a vulnerable thing to sit and say, like, man, I feel like I'm struggling bad, to the point that this is the point that I'm at. But I think it helps to acknowledge those feelings. And if somebody happens to see this and think, man, I was in the same, because I think I helped talk my friend out of it, because she was thinking about doing the same thing. She's like, I don't know, the way you describe and how you think about it, you might be right. So I want this to be, somebody comes across this video, I want this to be their salvation. I know times is tough. I think I'm in I don't want to say I feel like I'm in a more privileged place, but sometimes it feels like even just the idea of having a job and a place to live is a lot more privileged than people. It feels like a lot more of a privilege than a lot of people have, just because of things getting more expensive. It's getting hard out here to really be able to take care of yourself alone. It's tough. But I want this to be somebody else's salvation. Like, if you're contemplating something and if you're contemplating doing something that doesn't sit right with you, I would advise against it. And this is also, for me, I feel like the more I work towards myself and my goals, the more I feel like putting this video out is going to be one, good for me. It'd be one, good for somebody who's in the same situation and decides against, how they're feeling. And two, in a couple years, I want to be able to look back on videos like this and be like, this is where I was at this time last year, or 2 years, 3, 5, however many years ago, and look at me now, because I decided to listen to myself. And I feel like the Lord had his hand in there too. It's like, look, are you sure about that? So, yeah. And it's also because I've been, like I said, I'm doing a bigger project that I'm working on right now, of putting together some old videos, and I'm just like watching myself from a couple years ago and laughing at the same jokes. Like, some things, the commentary I make actively is a commentary I made back then. So it's just, I want to take more time to be appreciative of where I'm at, where I've been, and where I'm going. And to actively know that I'm putting my best foot forward. Because the video that I'm doing is, the mic quality in that video alone is like, man, I've upgraded from that, and thank God for that. But yeah, anyway, I'm doing enough yapping. Basically, I say all that to say that you got this. I got this. You got this. Times seem tough. Life is getting harder to enjoy, it seems like, but it's all a matter of perspective. Don't focus so much on the negatives of life. And I said that in my spirituality and positivity video, but I feel like I don't, again, I don't want to say it's not as bad as you think it is, because some people are in some actual shit. But I want to say that if everything around you is taken care of, it might not be perfect. You might have spent your last dollar to make sure your bills was paid and you got some food in your fridge. But even at that barest minimum, like, just enjoy the fact that we have enough. We might not be swimming in everything that we want, and it's probably for the best that we don't get all our desires fulfilled at once. That's another thing I've been seeing people say on TikTok. It's like, if God gave you everything you wanted at once, then you wouldn't devote yourself. I about to say, I hope that didn't change my video. You wouldn't devote yourself to Him the same way, or whatever. And I think I've gotten a taste of having what I thought I wanted, and I keep starting over from getting that particular taste. So I think that it's good to be in this space where, I guess at the bare minimum, I can say that I'm taken care of. Like, I'm handling things. It might not be on the timeline I want. It might not be the way I want. I might not be in overabundance the way I feel like I want to, but it's teaching me lessons that I wouldn't listen to if I had everything I wanted. So there's lessons in times like this, in isolation moments like this, where everything feels like it's coming to a head, or it's like it's one thing after another. If there's one thing that I've been taught in this time, is that I can handle a lot more than I thought I could. What they say, pressure makes diamonds. And there's so much that I want to handle differently, you know. And times like this is definitely pushing me towards handling it better than I would. So yeah, enough yapping. That's all I wanted to say. I love you, and take care. I'm out.